a jury nearly breaking into a fist fight during deliberations, the victim's family admitting to taking bribes on behalf of the defendant. This is the kind of stuff that I uncover when I stumble across these abortion deaths. And I stumbled across a 1922 death of a young girl named Frances because of a typo. When I was looking for new material on the 1909 death of Lillian Swing, I actually found out that, remember I say often the homicide in Chicago interactive database isn't necessarily the most accurate. They had her name wrong, and they were so ambiguous about the names of two doctors that I thought it was a doctor and his wife because they called her Mrs. Doctor so-and-so. But that's going to be up on the 15th. What happened, usually I leave a 5-year window when I'm searching for older cases because that's usually enough time for the case to go to trial, for appeals to go through. Things went a lot faster back then than they do now. So when I was looking for things about Lillian, I was supposed to type in 1909 to 1914. I accidentally typed in 1909 to 1924. And that's where I found this article here, where Lillian's mother was brought to the courtroom hoping that they could have her testify about her daughter's fatal abortion at the hands of Dr. Hamilton while he was on trial for the case of Frances. Now, Frances, of all people, was a clerk in the shipping department of the Evanston, Illinois Women's Christian Temperance Union. So I can't get all the details. They kind of leave out bits because the reporting only covers what the reporter found most interesting in the trial that day. But Frances's sister, Mary Kramer, testified that she originally brought Frances to Hamilton's office and dickered over the cost of an abortion. Hamilton wanted 35. Mary said she only had 25, so they left. And I think it might be that Mary had previously paid Hamilton $25 for her own abortion because while she was on the stand, they asked if she had ever availed herself of his services, and she said, quote, "I declined to answer." So it was Frances's sister-in-law, Elizabeth, that wound up taking her in for the abortion. She said that she sat out in the waiting room for about half an hour. She also said she'd seen the prematurely delivered baby, the news said. This seems to indicate that the baby was born alive. I'm not sure. I wish I knew. Hopefully I can find more information as the anniversary of this case comes up. Elizabeth said that when Frances came out, she was jubilant and joked a lot on the way home. That was on a Tuesday in October. The following Sunday, she was very sick. I came to her room while she lay on a couch ill. Now, Frances's mother, Myra, called Dr. John D. Brix, B-R-I-X, to come to the house and care for her, and told him about the abortion and that Dr. Hamilton had done it. I'm not sure who admitted Frances to St. Francis Hospital. She was treated there by Dr. I.H. Chilcott, who testified about her care. And then when she died, the coroner's physician testified that she died of blood poisoning caused by the abortion. Now, Hamilton's defense argued that the blood poisoning might have been caused by a pre-existing condition and not by the abortion. Frances had also made a deathbed statement implicating Hamilton. Now, Hamilton perjured himself on the stand by making statements that contradicted his sworn testimony during the coroner's inquest. And as he was getting off the stand, the prosecution brought in Myra, Frances's mother, who admitted that she and other relatives had taken a bribe from Hamilton's defense team, $400 in advance and a promise of $450 after the trial if they got an acquittal. if they would just kind of withhold some information and bend the rest a little bit. Although I haven't been able to find that they were slapped with perjury on account of that. Maybe that's when they actually told about going in for the abortion. There was an outburst in the courtroom. They were asking Hamilton if he bribed or had somebody bribe the family, but an investigation found bank records that indicated that this was true. And the deliberations of the jury were contentious, nearly dissolving into a fist fight. They finally voted for acquittal. And the jury foreman said, "We agreed in our arguments before we balloted that Dr. Hamilton probably committed an abortion on Frances. We did not try him for abortion, but for murder. There were too many doctors who treated the girl. There was too much time between the operation and the death, and there were jurors who were influenced by the fact that a penitentiary sentence for Hamilton was really a life sentence. There was too much reasonable doubt as to whether he caused the death." So, as you can see, Hamilton was kind of an old guy. Um, so, I mean, she died of blood poisoning, evidently caused by the abortion. So I guess they're wondering, they might have been thinking that other doctors who treated her might have actually caused the fatal injury. So the prosecutors made a mistake that they didn't prosecute him for abortion as well as for the murder. And I haven't found any evidence that any of the other involved parties, including the baby daddy, the sister who haggled over the abortion price, the sister-in-law who brought her there, um, that any of them were prosecuted. But I always look things up on the anniversary. So when did she die? It was November 19th, 1922. So come November, I'll go look it up again. I might actually go down to State Library of Pennsylvania if it's open in November and do some research on some legal databases to see if I can find better documents.